As it's been a little while since I've done a walkthrough of my studio, I thought I would show you it nice and clean after this past First Friday. Today is May 4th, 2014, and may the 4th be with you. We are starting here outside of my studio, number 250, at the Banana Factory Arts and Education Center in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. Just recently hung this wall. These are all works that have a little bit more orange in them, so they are grouped accordingly. And then do a little close-up here on Sunday Mirror. Sunday Mirror is a collage of old newspaper images and magazine images from like the 1940s and the 1950s, when there were a lot of there's pressure today on women to be beautiful and to be thin and to be glamorous, but back then they had some really not so very subtle messages that they put in their advertising, and such as this. And I found this scrapbook at a junk shop many years ago, and I've just had it ever since. And ever since I started doing this kind of artwork, doing the mandalas, I envisioned doing a collage of these different women, and this is what came together. So this is living outside my studio right now. It's called Sunday Mirror. And then we will move over to these pieces over here. You may recognize the piece on the left. That's one of the pieces I did in preparation for the Lehigh Valley Art Wars competition, the live art competition in 2011. I have since reworked it and brought it a little bit more closer to a more current vision of my work. And this piece on the bottom, Change in Heart, has a mantra inside of it. The mantra to Ganesh, which is about change, hence the name Change in Heart. It's slightly obscured, so it's just a very subtle peeking through the red. And this is a newer piece up here with some very bold colors. I'm gonna go inside the studio. And it is very clean and very spacious from First Friday. We typically have any number of people, up to hundreds, that come through my studio on a First Friday, on a typical First Friday. People from the community, people visiting from out of town, from local colleges, high school kids coming in to do reports on art. They come through, and it's an open house typically when all of the artists are present, and there's often gallery openings in the two galleries downstairs. And so we have over 30 artists in residence, and people can wander up and down through the first, second, and third floors of the building to interact with the artists, see what they've been working on, purchase their work, ask questions if they want to know more about what someone is doing. They can talk to them about taking classes, personal classes or group classes through the Banana Factory. There's often live music in the building. There's a hot glass studio downstairs on the first floor, which is often a very popular place for people to come and to visit on First Friday, because there's lots of people working on different projects at the same time, and there's often a live band playing down in the glass blowing studio. So people will move around, interact with the artists, listen to music, and absorb some of the local art in their community. So this is my studio, and this is where I create the bulk of my art. I'm no longer working in the small confined area of my kitchen as I did several years ago. I work larger, mostly in acrylic these days, although one of these days I'm going to transition to oil. I'm waiting for the right moment for that to happen. But for now, continuing to work in acrylic. I still consider myself a very young artist, discovering what my color palettes are, my favorite color combinations, my visual vocabulary, the way I wish to portray my artistic vision. I often talk about the round, patterned, circular art form called mandala as being a meditative process that helped me kind of open up to higher parts of myself, which have given me permission to create and to explore different conceptual ideas that have come to mind, like in these two pieces. This piece on the left is called She Is, I Am Light, which is about the divine inner light that's inside all of us that we don't always see. Others often do, but we don't always see it. The piece next to the light piece, this is called Resonate, and this is a piece inspired by the chakra system, the 7 energy centers located within the body that, when aligned, create balance. There is a mantra around the outside of this piece. Mantras have always been very important to me. This one is about light and about removing negativity. To the right of Resonate is Birth of I. This is the piece that I created when I spent a week with Alex and Allison Gray in Wappingers Falls, New York, at the Chapel of Sacred Mirrors. It was a visionary painting intensive, and this was the piece that I had conceptualized and created while I was working there. Good Times in May. The movement of these figures was inspired by, I don't know if you all remember, there was a television show in the 1970s called Good Times. And at the end of the show, when they ran the credits, there was always a painting that the camera zoomed in on and the credits ran over it. The painting was called Sugar Shack, and it depicted people dancing in a very, very free way. And this piece is always kind of, was my version of these women moving in a very free way. It's a view outside my studio. You can see one of my large dream catchers and a smaller dream catcher hanging within it. Recently just added this large work table. It's 2 adjustable sawhorses and a hollow core door, so I can move it up and down, move it around. Very convenient. My bookcases, all my inspiration. And then this wall here, I just assembled this for First Friday. This is kind of showing a little bit of the process that I've been working with to develop these more geometrical, abstract mandala forms. I've been starting with the black gessoed canvases and then drawing designs with rulers and compasses, something that I hadn't done for years and years doing mandalas. Everything had pretty much always been freehand, but now's the time for me to start working in this way. And so working with white charcoal or chalk or Chinese white pencils, I draw the designs first onto the black gessoed canvases, and then I start finding color schemes to work. And then you can see some color studies here. These aren't all necessarily in chronological order. I've kind of been working on all these things at one time over the past like 6 or 8 months or so. Apologize for the shadow. And this is the most recent piece that I've been working on. And I started this the first Friday in December, and I've been adding to it very intentionally, like really thinking through what was going to come next. And in all the years that I've been doing mandala creation, they've all been very in the moment and not, I haven't really thought about the way that they were going to end up. That was always something really important to my creative process, that I could create in a way that there were no rules. And I still believe that's a very important part of my process. But I think as an artist, I've started to grow in a direction that there's nothing wrong with being mindful and you know, thinking about design and composition and form and the colors that you're using. I think that these are all things that can help build you to be a stronger artist overall, because it's inevitable that whenever you do something that there's going to be growth, there's going to be change, that you're going to want to be challenged in new ways. And so this piece has probably been the most pivotal in my journey of discovering what's possible for myself as an artist. So I hope you've enjoyed this little walk through my space. I hope you'll consider coming to visit. My hours are typically by appointment, but I'm very flexible and I can do my best to work with you if you'd like to come and spend a little time in my studio. I offer private lessons, occasionally group lessons, and sometimes workshops. So feel free to reach out to me. You can find me on Facebook. Stephanie Smith's Mandala Art is the name of my Facebook page, or you could always visit my website, biffybeans.com. I am Biffy Beans pretty much all over the web, on YouTube, Flickr, Instagram, on many of the different social networks you can find and interact with what I'm doing. So thank you again for stopping by, and hope to see you soon.